Hi and welcome again. Today we're doing a little bit of an experiment based on, I guess, something intriguing that I found in the last week or so. What happens when one country decides to have a crack at a tea that another country is famous for? So let's have a look at a Chinese Pai, one of my favourite teas. Here it is, and we'll just cut in a little photo of it. And then over here is also a Pai, but this one is from India. Now, I came across online this Indian one, Doke or Doki, D-O-K-E, and thought, well, they're making Pai in India. Why didn't anyone tell me? Perhaps they've been doing it for years. I don't really know. But I thought, look, let's order some and have a bit of a look at it. So I put in an order for it, and the first thing I noticed when it arrived was that it's full leaves. It's just huge. There's just plenty of leaf here, whereas the Pai I normally buy is quite leafy, but also quite broken up. Now, I'm not sure if that's a freshness issue, because I think this tea is very, very fresh, or whether it's a difference in the processing, or whether it's some other difference along the way there. I mean, the way this tea is normally processed is it's left to dry in the sun for 1 to 3 days, and then put in piles to oxidise for half an hour up to about 3 hours. So even within the same region, this one's Fujian Mountains, you could have some variations on it. But anyway, I've put some water in, and this water is, or was when I poured it in, at about 85 degrees, which I think works for green tea or white tea. We do have some lively debates on that, but that's about as cold as I would let it go. Now, just looking at it, the Chinese one does seem to have a slightly darker colour than the Indian one. Now, I suspect that's the fact that the leaves are simply more chopped up, and so more flavour is leaching out more quickly. Now, I used a digital scale to make sure I had the same weight in both of them. The Indian one did seem to be a sort of a high pile of dried leaves, whereas the Chinese one was a little bit more compact. So I'm just going to have a sip of this. Let's see if I can do this without choking on leaves, as I've done in the past. That is absolutely beautiful. That's the Indian one. It tastes like Pai. Let's try the Chinese one. There we go. Look, I think that's stronger, even if you look at the colours. What I suspect, though, is that the reason it's stronger is because it's a bit more masticated, and the flavour is coming out a bit more quickly. So I would actually suspect that this one, which is a beautiful, beautiful colour, I suspect this one will strengthen up a bit as it steeps. So perhaps it needs a little bit more time, or perhaps it needs a little bit more tea in order to get the same strength. Now, it must be said this cost me about a quarter of what this one cost me, so if I have to use a few more leaves, I'm still a mile ahead. Let me try it again. Look, the flavour profile is astonishingly similar. If anything, maybe the Chinese one is a little bit more brackish. I do like that brackishness to it. The Indian one perhaps is a touch sweeter. But either way, I think the Indian product is very, very good, and I don't think I'd have any hesitation having that as a standby. I always have to have Pai in the house, it's essential. But at this point I would happily have either the Indian one or the Chinese one. So there you go, Pai. Doesn't seem to matter where it comes from. If it's done properly, it's a great tea. So I'll leave you with that. Cheers.